The next guardian. I sit in silence, staring at the space where the gate was, waiting for Baba to come back. She will come back. She has to. She wouldn't leave me here all alone. The house sighs, pulling a draught down the chimney, and the candles flicker out. The dying embers of the fire cast thick, rolling shadows across the room. I crawl into Baba's chair and pull my horsehair blanket over me. Baba said the morning is wiser than the evening. Maybe she meant she'll return in the morning and then everything will be all right. She doesn't, and it's not. The morning brings harsh sunbeams that pour through the skylight and illuminate an empty, silent room. No humming, no singing, no shuffling of feet, not even the click of Jack's claws or the bleating of Benji. "Jack!" I shout. My voice cracks and ends in a sob. Jack pokes his head through the skylight and shrieks. Relief washes over me. I'm not completely alone. Jack will always come back, and surely Baba will too. I carry Benji inside to make the house seem less empty and busy myself with tidyings so that everything will look nice when Baba returns. Benji skids around the floor as I clear away last night's food and dishes and wipe the table. Then I decide Baba will be hungry when she gets back, so I build a fire, make fresh black bread dough and leave it to rise in the warmth. When she's still not back, I go for a walk along the beach to look for a good spot for us to skinny dip and sunbathe later. I choose an area with a huge palm bending over it, creating a cool shadow for Baba. She would like it here, in the shade. I gather dry sticks for a campfire and think about what we could cook. We'll have the night off tonight, like Baba wanted to, and spend it together, just the two of us. I get everything ready, food and drink, candles and books, blankets and Baba's balalika, so she can play music and sing to the stars. But when I've prepared it all, she's still not back. A knot forms in my stomach. The sun dips low in the sky, and Jack shouts from the top of a skull. Of course, Baba can't come back until the gate opens, and that always happens at night. I should have realised that before. I'm not thinking straight. I light the skull candles, but leave the skeleton gate with the foot bone hinges closed. As darkness falls, the dead gather by the fence. But I ignore them. I'm not letting them in. I'm not guiding the dead without Baba. I lay the table with the black bread I baked, salted butter, cheese, horseradish and kvass, all the things that Baba likes best, and I sit and wait for the gate to open and Baba to return. Benji falls asleep on my floor cushion and Jack dozes in the rafters. The knot in my stomach tightens as the night draws on. I'm just going to turn that off. Sorry about that. The knot in my stomach tightens as the night draws on. I hear the restless dead shuffling outside, the occasional murmur and groan of impatience. I pull the shutters close and latch them tight, but still I hear them. The noise chills me to my bones because it reminds me I'm one of them. I'm dead too. Technically, I don't even have bones to chill. What am I? A lost soul that wouldn't go through the gate, only made real, or almost real, by the magic of the house. If I'm only able to exist here, near the house, what kind of life is this? Memories of the life I've had drift through my mind, sitting on Baba's lap when I was small, snuggling into her warm belly as she told me stories, dressing up as a knight and battling stick armies the house grew for me, bouncing on the roof held tight by soft fuzzy vines as the house splashed through puddle-filled wetlands. Landscapes whizzing past, the house running through the night, watching flamingos, whales and polar bears from my bedroom window, dancing with the dead to Baba's accordion and falling asleep while she played lullabies on her balalika. If I had passed through the gate as a baby, none of these things would have happened. The life I've had is certainly better than no life at all. I stare into the fire, guilt weighing me down. So many of the things I've said to Baba I regret now. I don't hate my life, my death, whatever it is. It's been good, growing up with her in this magical house. I need her to come home. Nothing else matters. Whether I'm alive or dead, a Yaga or not, I don't care anymore. I just want Baba back. Jack flops down to the floor and his claws click behind me as I pace the room. Shh, I hiss at him, trying to think what to do. I stop and stare at the space where the gate always appears. Gate open, I shout dramatically. Nothing happens. I try the death journey words, speaking them as loudly and clearly as I can, using Nina's joy of nurturing life for the bit that always changes, seeing as that was the last time the gate was open. It occurs to me those words are a good fit for Baba's life too. Nurturing brought her happiness, and although she nurtured the dead rather than the living, she always said there was no difference between the two. The words don't open the gate, though. "House!" I demand, glaring at the rafters. "Make the gate open!" Nothing happens. I stamp my feet and slump back into Baba's chair. Jack beats his wings and I lift my arms over my head to protect myself from the collision, thinking he's about to land on my shoulder, but he flies over me and something soft floats down into my arms. I pull it into my lap. It's Baba's headscarf, the one with the skulls and flowers. It smells of her, lavender water, bread dough, borscht and kvass. I pull it around me, stare into the fire again and wait. She has to come back. She just needs a bit longer. Who knows how high the glassy mountains are or how long the path to the stars. She'll take Nina as far as she needs to go and then she'll return and everything will be all right. Soft knocking breaks me out of my trance. I'm not sure how long I've been staring at the fire, but it's nearly burned out and the room is cool. Moonlight pours over the skylight, decorating Jack with a silver sheen. He ruffles his feathers, opens his eyes and tilts his head towards the front door. I follow his gaze. An old, wispy couple are standing in the doorway. I glare at the rafters accusingly. The house had no right to let them through the bone gate. "Hello," the old man says in a wavering voice. "May we come in? My wife is so tired." I frown as I try to make sense of his words. He's talking in the language of the dead, and I can barely understand him. His wife is hunched over, clutching him tight. Her spine is curved like a shepherd's crook, and she seems unable to lift her head or stand without his support. I can't send them away like this. I nod reluctantly. They shuffle to the table, and the man helps his wife into a chair. Now they're here, I suppose I'll have to guide them away. By myself. Nerves flutter through me. I turn back to the dying fire and fiddle with Baba's headscarf, folding it carefully into smaller and smaller triangles. I'm annoyed with the old couple for invading my space and for needing to be guided, and also with Baba for not being here to do this. She's the guardian of the gate, not me. "Would you like me to mend up your fire?" the old man offers, his hat in his hand and a warm smile on his face. "No, I'll do it." I throw a handful of sticks on the embers and they crackle into flames. "Help yourself up to food," I add as an afterthought, feeling guilty for being so rude. Baba would be ashamed of me. "That's very kind." The man reaches for the bread and cuts a couple of thin slices for himself and his wife. "There are more dead out there." He glances to the door. I edge towards it and push it closed with my foot, ignoring the house's creak of approval. "You know you're dead?" I move to the table and sit opposite the old man, intrigued. The dead don't usually realise what they are until Baba tells them. "Oh, yes. We've both been expecting this for some time." He puts his hand over his wife's. "I'm so pleased we'll be making this journey together." I understand him clearly now. The language of the dead is strange, evading me one minute, then making sense the next. I wonder if it's about listening, like Baba always said, or if it's more about actually wanting to understand. Right now, I realise I want to understand what this man is saying, if for no other reason than it's distracting me from Baba not being here. I pour him and his wife a kvass. "We've been married for 71 years, the man says proudly. "Wow! I can't imagine what so many years feels like." He looks at his wife fondly. "We've known each other our whole lives. Our parents were neighbours. We used to play together as children." The old woman smiles. They tell me of their lives together, how they sat next to each other at school, got married when they left, and set up a business making clay pots. They tell me about their holidays on the same riverboat every year, and their wish to have children that was never fulfilled. A tear drips from the old woman's face. The old man puts his arm around her, pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and dabs her eyes. I feel a tense, hollow aching deep inside them, caused by them wanting something so much for so long. It makes me think of Baba and all the lies she told because she wanted a family of her own. Oh, I wish she were here so I could tell her I understand now and I forgive her and that she will always be my grandmother no matter what. The man goes on to tell me how he and his wife gave lessons to children, teaching them to throw clay on a potter's wheel, and how his nieces visited every summer. The couple finish each other's sentences and hold each other tight. He winks at her and lights dance in her eyes. I'm swept away by their words to a home filled with homemade pots and ornaments. I smell tea, clay and glaze and hear the laughter of children in lessons. Decades of memories fly by too fast. 71 years doesn't feel as long as I thought it would. I don't even notice the gate is open until the man rises to his feet and helps his wife to hers, and they hobble slowly towards it. "What do you take with you to the stars?" I ask, suddenly remembering my role in all of this, rushing to pour the spirit trost. The warmth of companionship. The woman smiles and the man nods in agreement. They drink the trust, kiss my cheeks, and hold hands as they step through the gate together. The death journey words flow from my mouth as they drift into the blackness. May you have strength on the long and arduous journey ahead. The stars are calling for you. Move on with gratitude for your time on earth. Every moment now an eternity. You carry with you memories of infinite value, the warmth of companionship, peace at returning to the stars. The great cycle is complete. I stare after them, searching for Baba. I try to make out the waves that hush below me, try to focus on the faint outline of the glassy mountains. Lights flash like fireflies. I feel myself being pulled towards them. "Baba!" I shout, but although I feel the words in my throat, no sound comes out. My voice is swallowed by the darkness. I lean further into the gate, see the stars in the distance, above, below, and beyond. Baba is in there somewhere. If I stepped inside, I could find her and bring her home, and then everything would be all right. I take a deep breath, pull myself to my full height, and step calmly into the gate.